everybody, and welcome back to the show. I'm so excited to share with you and present to you my next guest. She is the host of Transcend with Debbie, and she can be found on all platforms wherever you listen to your podcasts. She's an evidential psychic medium, healer, paranormal investigator, and empowerment teacher who is holding space to bring awareness and raise the vibration collectively with love, compassion, and healing. And if you know Debbie, you will know that she really lives up to her mission statement there. And so, Debbie, I just really want to thank you so much for being on the show and sharing your voice with my listeners.
Oh, Courtney, thank you for including me here. Hello, everyone who gets to hear this. It is an honor and a privilege to be here in honor of Spirit and the community. So thank you, Courtney, for the invite.
Debbie, I came across your Instagram feed, and I feel like that's where a lot of people meet one another now and we get connected is through social media. So I just think it's absolutely beautiful. And what really drawn me to your feed and to your energy and your presence is the energy that you exude. And you really embody love, compassion, and a desire to represent the world of spirit with such integrity and heart-centeredness. And I'm just curious if you could maybe share with our listeners a little bit about where your journey led you to begin to working with the world of spirit.
Oh, thank you. I think oftentimes we find ourselves in moments where we go within, and many times, not just once, but we find ourselves in situations where we're seeking that inner peace, that inner guidance. And for me, I had multiple events in my life where I've done that. And I feel that it's important that we honor that love because it is really coming back to love for ourselves and love of spirit. And so when we're in the place of mindfulness and we're in that bliss, wherever you choose to go, whether it's prayer, meditation, sound healing, group healings, you're all uniting together with the same purpose to elevate and to raise the vibration and to change the perception or to welcome shifts. And so I continue to do that through my own personal healing journey. And this is what you get.
I love it. And have you always been aware of the spirit world?
I've always been aware of the spirit world since a little girl, but really, really more so I'm in my 20s. So I would say really like, whoa, there's spirit. Okay, whoa, there's spirit. And so I've always had those moments as a child, we're dreaming or we're having those out of body experiences and bodies just going. And so, you don't understand it until you're older. So I would say to have a better grasp on it in my 20s. Mm-hmm.
And when did you decide this is part of my calling to be a representative for the spirit world and to be a voice for them? And was there a pivotal point in your life you're like, this is what I'm meant to do? This is why I'm here?
Yeah. Good question, Courtney. I think we find many who struggle to find the proper guidance or just to have the professionalism behind the work to hold space for a person. I've seen many personal friends and people that I know who have sat with energy and trying to unfold it and trying to understand it. And it can be a very hard awakening for many. I know myself, I've had, those moments of that dark night of the soul or that darker, like trying to understand the heavier part of my subconscious or the unfoldment. And so it really is just having a community to come together. As you know, Transcend with Debbie is a platform for many, not just me, but others get to come and share their expertise, their knowledge, and they are able to hold space maybe for a way that someone else would understand, because we all process and perceive differently, and we all have a different story. And so it's important that we share our story to help that next person that's opening up to say, I get that, me too, or just have those chills or those moments of, whoa, they get me, I can work with that person. And so this is what it's about. Holding space so that we can have that comfort, that nourishing to our soul and our mind and our body.
That's absolutely beautiful. And I 100% can relate to you about needing to find the community and going through the dark night of the soul. And many people, particularly those that are in the early stages of their awakening, they're seeking information and guidance. And so where do they go? Where do they go? Where do they look? Social media. And so many people will portray it as warm and fuzzy and love and light, but yet there is so much that goes on internally, our shadow work, our inner healing, the spiritualization of self that goes along with the mediumistic or psychic unfoldment and development. And I found even with myself, which is why I created the Connected Spirit School, was like, we need this community. We need to be able to relate with other people, even though mediumship is becoming a little bit more mainstream. There's still a lot of misconceptions about that. Do you still find that in your work with the world of spirit or the people that you come in contact with?
I think everyone just tries to tread very lightly. I think there's a caution because, well, for me, I'm not a certified doctor. I'm not a therapist. And so I will never replace a medical doctor or supervision of care. And so I think there's a caution that comes with our work. And there's also a huge responsibility that is placed upon a medium when we're holding space for another person. We're all in vulnerable places in our life. And what we say is really taken for value of like, okay, this is what they're saying. There are people that really follow the evidence to the T and live their life and in spirit walking and truth. And so there is that caution. There is a mindfulness that comes with this work. And so I find that if you're seeing one way of working with it, this is why we're required to have a team. And so when you develop a team, I had a team of so many different people that I chose for myself. And whether this was a massage, a Reiki session, a sound healing, crystal therapy, my shamanic journey, every week was a different opportunity for me to delve deeper. Even the herbal medicine, the natural care, a therapist, a doctor, you're including a group of people and your family, your friends, your circles. This is just not you being affected by the shifts. It's everyone that you're around that can open up to, oh my gosh, Courtney, what's happening to you? Are you okay? Who is receptive to your needs? And so there is a huge need for care in our work. So it's not always about let's make a connection. How do we bring in that loving, comforting care for you in the physical plane to feel heard, to feel love, and to feel secured in your journey? And so it takes a very special person to be able to hold that space for you. It really does.
Absolutely. Oh my God. It just resonates. Like the bells are going off right now for me because you have put it in a way, different words, but the same philosophy that I have. And I find like some people just aren't as, I don't want to say aware, but don't recognize the need of the medium, and we can get caught up with the service work and giving and providing for others. And, I'm sure you've heard the term like the wounded healer, right? We're giving, but we forget about ourselves.
Right.
And whether you can identify as a wounded healer or not, the self-care, the nurturing, I like the holistic approach with taking care of the body, mind, and spirit. It resonates for me more. But I love therapy. I'm a big advocate for that. I think we need to look at all of the different aspects of our physical self, our mental self, our emotional self, not just the work we do with the world of spirit. So beautiful. And were you guided to your team of people that you have sought, like you've been in connection with, or did you seek them out and coincidences, synchronicities? How did that happen? Because I have some interesting stories with mine, but I don't want to talk about me. I want to hear about you.
It's very interesting that you say that. So yes, we're very guided to where we're supposed to go. And a lot of times you will find the coincidences like, oh, wow, that just happened. Or yeah. And it's all aligned in a beautiful way. And so, yes, I've had the opportunity to work with some amazing souls, cross the path of many intelligent beings who do hold space in a very public and private way. A lot of times you will find a way that will fit your needs based on your shifts and based on your perception, because we do change very quickly in our thoughts. And so what you may have felt one year is a whole different way of looking at life in another. So you're always given the right teacher and you're always given that right message right at the moment where like, I needed that. Thank you.
Absolutely. I find that the spirit world, they know our needs and they will bring signs and symbols and synchronicities and people to cross our path to help us become aware of what our needs are, because sometimes we're not always in check with what those needs are, or maybe we
Right.
feel there's something going on but can't quite identify it. And so the world of spirit will, and the universe certainly conspires to bring us to where we need to be. And so for those of you that are listening and maybe you're on a similar path and had a similar or are experiencing a similar journey, if you send the thought out to the universe, to your spirit team, whether you know who they are or not, don't matter,
Right.
they will bring you the right people, the right resources to help support you. And it's always in that beautiful energy of love.
It really is. It
It
really
is.
is. That is the gentle calling from mind to mind. It's very intelligent. So your soft prayers, your words, your thoughts and feelings, they're always heard. It's just a matter of us doing our part as well. It requires a team, a movement. And so as you're giving permission for your body to shift and go into it, there is movement. Even if you don't recognize it because you're hurting, there's still movement. So with that thought, that's part of the movement. So honor that part of where you are, wherever you are in your journey.
Definitely. I love it. I want to talk about something a little bit different. You're
Yeah,
a paranormal investigator.
girl.
So intriguing. I love that. I've never done it. My cousin's a paranormal investigator, and I've never done it. I'm so curious about it. Yes, I do watch paranormal shows. Are some of them a little, maybe over the top, or maybe are they fake? I don't know. But some of them I really feel are legit. And
Mhm.
I know for like my cousin, she's had real experiences that have been documented using different types of equipment. And so I do believe in paranormal investigations, and I do believe that there can be, souls that are still in places. Are they stuck? I don't know if they're stuck. Maybe they just want to stay. I'm curious. I just want to pick your brain about this. How did you get into this? What was your why? And maybe share some of your experiences that you're like, holy smokes, like
Yeah.
something's going on.
Well, after COVID, before COVID, I was starting to step out as a medium. I was ready to go do platforms in person. I was ready to do some retreats. I was really ready to meet with other mediums and set up these dens. And I was like, yeah. And then things got shut down, right? And so then, of course, we're going through the pandemic and we're going through changes. We're home. We're, going through a collective mourning, as you would call it. And so finally, things in life happened where I just said, I'm not going to be afraid of what's out there. And whether this is the not understanding the pandemic or just stepping out as a medium, it takes courage to hold space in the public eye. And I said to Spirit, okay, Spirit, I'm ready to be in person. I'm ready to be seen and I'm ready to work. I want to go out to work, right? And so this friend of mine just tagged me in this Paracon, and it was an in-person. It was here in my town, and I was like, Paracon, what's a Paracon? I'm like, I don't know. I'm okay. I'm gonna just do readings and hold space and just show up. I'm like, okay. And then it was so funny because someone says to me, well, how are people going to know that you're a medium? Like, you just signed up for all these things. You have no table, you have no sign. I'm like, you have nothing. And you're just going to be like, ta-da, and I'm here. I'm like, oh, yeah, huh? I forgot about that part. So I was doing the pop-ups. And the pop-up was a local at the beach. And I went shopping, me and my brain and spirit. We went to Ross and we hooked it up in one day. And they looked at me like, you're really serious about going and doing these pop-ups. I was like, yeah. The kids put me a sign together in one day. And I was like, okay, got some cards done in a day.
Yeah.
And I just showed up. And that's exactly what we were going back to, that thought, that manifestation, that creation, that prayer, that will. And my thought to spirit was, I'm ready, let's go. So when I went to the pop-up, then the Paracon came, had no idea I was a room full of celebs. Like, these are hardcore ghost adventures, like, prayer warriors. Like, you're in the middle of everyone that is in the production of the work. I had no idea. I just wanted to go, be seen, have some fun, hold space, have a place where my local girls and friends and clients can come hook it up and meet me in person. Because we all did so much on Zoom that we never got to meet in public. So it was like, hey, how are you? And I'm like, yeah, I'll be here. Come see me. And so it was a great way to be in the community. It was a great way to meet others. And then they said, hey, Deb, do you want to come on my podcast show? Hey, Deb, you want to come meet me really quick? Had no idea I was doing a paranormal investigation. And I got to do a walkthrough with a guy from Darkest Hour, and his name's Stefan, super cool dude out here locally where I live. And he's been on Ghost Adventures. He's been on Nickelodeon, like, so much. He's a very well-known demonologist, if you believe, and that need of care. He is beautiful prayer man, warrior there. And he just said, come on, girl, let's go. And then couple weeks later, like 2 or 3 weeks later, if that, he said, hey, Deb, do you want to shoot for Ghost Adventures? And I said, what? And I said, what do you mean? Like, I had no idea, right? And so as I got the opportunity to just even say yes to just going into working with someone and not knowing what you're doing, you never know where that's going to go. And when you say paranormal investigator, right, we're mediums, we're intuitives, we're very vulnerable to the energy. So it's just being us. So there's no like, oh, girl, what gift do you have that you can do that? It's holding space and letting spirit unfold their story. And it requires a team. I'm not just the only person. There's people holding the equipment, the infrared, they got the EVPs going, the recordings. It requires a team to hold space, to develop the unfoldment of the history and the story of wherever you're investigating. And it was a privilege to be able to witness it. And it was a privilege to be able to hold space to speak on behalf of spirit. And so for me, it's just about showing up.
And how was that experience for you with perceiving the spirit, receiving information, and then the equipment going alongside of you? Did it distract you? Did the equipment give validation at all?
Yeah. So for me, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. At first, it's kind of when I first went in, when it was for filming, that was different. I was very intimidated. I was very nervous. I had no idea what to expect. Everyone's energy is on a different level. And so, mind you, I'm coming out, and so I'm very sensitive. I'm just like, oh, okay, this is happening. But it was a beautiful experience to be able to see the stuff on camera, to be able to see the actual movement of the waves of when the energy shifts and the heat and it gets cold and things like that. To me, it just had me in awe. And I'm just watching and respecting each person as they do their part. And because it takes a lot of work and time that goes into that. My biggest thing is channeling when I go in. And so I love to channel the message and allow the soul to come closer. And so as that steps forward for me, they were able to capture that shift on the camera. And so that's the beauty of the presence of spirit. And so if you can bring forward the evidence and you can bring forward the message and they can resonate it with the history, then, you've done your part for spirit.
Absolutely. And what's incredible is I love the idea of people doing paranormal investigations with respect for the world of spirit.
Yeah.
And what I think is so cool is that these shows, I mean, they're pretty popular on Discovery Plus. Like they have their own section just dedicated to paranormal shows. And
right.
And there's a variety of them. And Ghost Adventures is probably the most popular one. Well, I think it is the most popular one. I love it. But what's cool about that is they have the scientific equipment that validates what the medium or the sensitive is perceiving and is tuning into. So I think that's incredible validation that there's validity to the work that we do as psychic mediums.
I agree. There was one case that we were working on. It'll actually be airing on October 1st. I was not in this show, but I got to do the investigation beforehand with my friend, and we're just doing ghost walks and things like that. And I got to witness a lot of the work. And I believe, so these are two different shows. So this Glen Tavern will be on the Osborne show October 1st, which is the Glen Tavern. It's a very active hotel. And there's different investigations that were done that I got to experience. And so when the equipment was speaking and Spirit was giving me the evidence, and I didn't say nothing, I'm just the observer. I'm like, whoa, that's so cool. Like, whoa. So it's like when you're saying one thing, the voice box is saying it in the other room and it's validated, you're just like, you just can't help but be in awe and just like, whoa, that just happened. Like, how awesome is that? The most funniest part, when I'm allergic to cats, right? And so everything has a debris. And this one place in the attic, they want me to go in the attic, and they thought I was afraid because of the attic. I'm like, no, I'm not afraid of the attic. They're telling me there's cats in there, which means their dander's still there. You know, if there's cats. He's like, she goes, she doesn't want to get sick because there's cats. She's allergic. I said, right. And so I go in there with the gun, and all you see is the cats playing with the cat ball. And so I told you there was cats in here. And so when I came out, I did get sick. I had a little allergy after, but so those are the things that make me like the integrity of the building. Those are the things that worry me. What's in there? What am I going to be touching? What am I going to walk into? Is this building going to fall? Like, I remember getting a vision. They were thinking of doing an investigation on a home. I think it's in San Francisco. That's like a never ending door. Like it was like she kept creating and building on the house. And I kept saying, I'm going to get lost. If these doors, you're walking through all these doors, like my brain will not know how to come out. You better have to like hold a string on me and make sure you can pull me out of that house because I'm not going all the way in. Those are the things that scare me.
Not the spirits, it's the doors and the pet dander and the cats.
It's like, please make sure I can come out of this, make sure I can walk in it and I'm safe. Like I will freak out, like, oh my God, you know, I don't know how I'll be jumping out a window that doesn't exist because that house was like a never ending gum stopper, you know, just keeps going and going and going. Those are the things that worry me.
So the Paracon has really been a catalyst for your work in the paranormal field.
Yeah. So the Paracon is what did it. And then I met the young men, and then I got to go to another Paracon and got invited with that. And then it just kind of settled, and I just sat with it and I just got to let it integrate because it takes time. I'm just a baby in it. You know, I say, but I'm not a baby as a medium, but I say baby to their world. Right. And so it's just respect. It's just respect.
I love that. Can you talk a little bit about your show and what inspired you to start Transcend with Debbie and how that's unfolded since its inception?
Thank you. So Transcend with Debbie was the name given by my students. I was asked to have my own show at one point, and I wasn't ready. I was taking care of my mom, just life. I wasn't ready. There's a lot that comes with this work. And so as time came, it's like, Debbie, what's the name you want to have for the show? Because I was playing with it, the idea. And I was like, I have to think of a name of a show too. I got to be the podcast radio show and, you know, do mediumship. Okay. And so the students came up with the idea. So the name was given to me by my students. The work was given to me by Spirit. Many a times we find ourselves in our journey where we're looking and we're watching, we're observing other mediums, how they flow, how they put the words together to bring forward the philosophy, the intelligent, the inspiration. And I had done that for many years. I watched, I learned, and I grew with many different people on the social media platform. And so never did I think that I would be in this position, but I knew what it felt like to have the need to understand more deeply. And Spirit's like, you're going to create this platform, but it's not for me. It was for the people, and for the people to share, like you, like-minded souls, their story, their experiences. And then if they have a teaching that they can offer, someone can say, hey, I can take that class. This person knows what they're doing. They're well-trained. They're professionally educated with the work. They know. So it's important to have that right hand holding you with Spirit and someone that's confident enough to say, I got you. And so to have Transcend with Debbie it's not only that, but it's also given now an opportunity for those who are wanting to step up and have a platform where you're cared for, where you're nourished and protected to say, I'm a medium. As I have an open mic day once a month for someone that I'm guided to bring forward to say, the platform is yours. Do what you wish. I trust you because spirit is saying you're ready. So this is given another medium to have a place to speak and be the voice for themselves, but also for spirit, because it takes courage to step into that role. And it takes a person to be able to say, I got you, to make sure that they know that we as mediums are taking care of each other and we're holding space for each other, because it is not an easy role to say, I can do this. And so that is one. And then for the others to come collectively and be able to share their gift. It's a beauty. There's beauty in all of the unfoldment to rock whatever inspiration is flowing through them, whether it's an oracle card, tea leaf, color reading, ribbon reading, wax readings, poetry, trance, healing. This work isn't just mediumship where the soul is coming in. There is a component of energy, of frequency and vibration that flows through each person that allows us to shift in a way that it unfolds our inspiration to make movement, to make things happen, and to believe and to feel enlightened. And everyone carries that within them. They just need a place to share.
Absolutely. I love that. That is so important today because I see in my own work, Debbie, so many people that are becoming more aware of their mediumistic powers of awareness, and they need a place that is safe, that is supportive. There's a sense of community, and that they are really held while they unfold these abilities and discover another layer, another aspect of themselves.
Right.
Their need, and I love it. I love what you're doing, because we need to support one another in this work. And sadly, that's not always the case. So
exactly,
that's absolutely beautiful. And I'm wondering if you can let our listeners know about what you have up and coming and how they can get in contact with you.
Oh, so Transcend with Debbie is on all platforms, transcendwithdebbie.com. That's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. You will find me mostly on YouTube with other guests. I'm also a host on SPTV every Friday. I also am a host once a month on Things Network. So lots of different places you can find me. My Tree Link has a connection to everything I'm doing. Everything that we do when we go live is free. So if you're in a place where you just needed a little message, you can always jump in on SPTV. There is always some professional medium holding space every day. So you're never alone, which I love. And what I'm doing now is I have a free circle. Every Thursday at 9 a.m. on Thursdays, I have a development circle for an hour and 15 minutes. I will hold space. We do a little mini development practice about 20 minutes in. We'll hold space with a little meditation, and then the platform opens for full readings for them to practice. And that is free every Thursday, once a month, every third Sunday of the month. That's kind of the idea that I'm toiling with. It's new for me, where every medium, every intuitive, every inspiring, creative flow that you want to share, you got 5 minutes to hit the platform live, which means is that I'm going to go live on Zoom, and whoever wants to read can read. And this is going to give them the tools and the confidence to be able to be in the public eye to share their love for spirit. So this is what I'm doing at the moment. That's there. The new things that you will watch for is at least twice a month, I will have a professional medium who will be teaching or offering a teaching for a course that's under $25. I like to keep it reasonable. We just had an amazing creative color class with Richard Stuttle. My next class I have was with Daniela, and she will be offering crystal skull understandings and healings and things like that. Kelly Brickle will be teaching psychic masterclass, and that'll be on November 4th. So lots of different teachers are lined up to teach in honor of spirit, and they get to work with me on Transcend with Debbie. So my goal is to bring awareness, teachings, and just holding space to grow our awareness, our knowledge, and our love. So that is what I'm doing.
Amazing. And everybody, you can get all of Debbie's contact information in the show notes. Debbie, before we wrap up our time together today, I'm wondering if you could share what it means to be connected to your own spirit.
Oh, I love that. Every morning, every morning, it's always about doing a self check-in. And so this new thing that I just started is the color check-in that I got with Richard Stuttle. So it's only been 2 days that I've been doing it. Color healing I've always been doing for myself. We'll say for about within the year, just bringing in the colors, right? So you're going to do a self check-in and where you are mentally, physically, spiritually, right, and emotionally. And so for me, I choose the colors to go in intuitively, and you pick in the colors that you want, and you color them in, and you're just acknowledging this is the color of where my physical body is today. This is where my spiritual body is today. This is where my mental and emotional body is today. You want to look at the texture of like how you're coloring it in. Are you missing colors? Is it spots not shaded in? Is it a little heavier there? Is the color a little more scribbled? It's going to give you an idea of where your energy's at for that specific component of what you're working on. Then the next step is above it. Then you look at it and say, now this is what I want it to be. And so you're bringing in the colors of what you want it to be. There's no wrong way to do it. You're going to just fill into your intuition and go into the colors that you're guided to work with. And so that is how I do my self check-in. For myself, I kind of get an idea of where my feelings are, where my emotions are. And so that I just been doing recently. If I go into the self-care of my physical body or my own self, it's like, really, what do I need to do today? What does my spirit need? Because you will fill into this is in my awareness. This is something I need to deal with. And if it's an emotion, trust me, we have our problems, we have our grief, and we have our sadness, and we also have our joy. And so as we maneuver through them in a gentle, compassionate way, you just give it gratitude, regardless if it's a mess, regardless if it's good. The gratitude of medicine is going to just keep you uplifted and moving in a direction that you will not be able to understand, but it's unfolding little miracles at a time. And so that is what I do. Even when it's messy, I give it gratitude. And so I hope that helps somebody who comes in and listens just to that little part of this is my energy. Then when you sit with your higher self, you bring it in, you fill into your own energy, you allow yourself to be guided with that love, then you welcome spirit so you can feel the shift of the energy between you and spirit. So if you're trying to figure out the difference, higher self first, then you bring in spirit. And that'll allow you to recognize the difference in the energies when you're working with spirit and yourself.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for that. I
You're welcome.
know that that's going to be really valuable to those who are listening. And Debbie, I just want to thank you so much for being on the show, for sharing so much about yourself and the work that you do. It's been inspiring to me, and I know it's going to be inspiring to those that are listening at this episode whenever they listen to it. So thank you so much for being on the show and just sharing your love and your wisdom and your guidance.
Thank you, Courtney, for having me. And thank you, everyone who gets to tune in. It was an honor and a privilege to be here for Spirit and the community. Much love.
Thank you.